Hello, everybody. Welcome again to the Pixelcast. This is the show where we, a group of friends, a group of good old pals, get together and play through a game together every week, coming back and discussing everything we've played, sort of like an old-fashioned book club, but with video games. Just in case this is your first time here, this is the Pixelcast Game Club. As I have said, my name is Brian with a B. I am your host. Joining me is Ryan with an R and Ian with an I, and we are currently playing, slide please, Metal Gear Rising. This is episode 3. We are going to go over chapters 4, 5, and 6. Hostile Takeover, Escape from Denver, and Badlands Showdown, and we will discuss that in a moment. But first, how are we doing?
Doing good, doing good.
Doing
Blizzard's
good.
having a bunch of interesting setbacks. A lot of people leaving even more than they have been.
Yeah, people
McCree
just
is no
walking out.
longer at the company.
McCree?
Yeah, the man who was named after the cowboy, or rather the other way around. But yes,
Yeah. Man, Blizzard is not their boat's got a lot of holes in it.
Yeah.
yeah, they're
Right.
slipping.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, right. Fuck them, kids.
Fuck them kids. I'm doing.
Fuck
Totally.
them kids.
I'm doing good though. I'm just tired. We were just talking previously. I just had a busy day, but this is like the last thing of my day before I take a shower and then go to sleep because I got work in the morning. So this is my relaxing
and
moment of the day.
And I bet the podcast, doing the podcast, is an easier experience from the other side of the producer's chair because summarizing everything and putting the presentation together is a non-zero amount of work, and I didn't know how good I had it when all I had to do was play Resident Evil 4
Play
and
the
and
game
laugh
and
at the
talk
memes.
about it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I had to do. I didn't know
Yeah.
how good I had it, and I don't know why I picked a Kojima, a Metal Gear game, to synopsisize this, and I'm sitting here talking about classical memes and war
Let me
culture
tell you
and
my opinions on POWs and SOBs and a bunch of abbreviations that we don't actually need, like BT. That stands
are
for beach thing. That's not a military thing.
um
That's what it is.
a
I played
Yeah.
I
it's
played like a
just for
couple hours of
gameplay.
that game and I was like, I don't know what BT means. I just know what
No,
they
it's
are.
it's literally
It's
just because
the first
Kojima likes
strand type
abbreviations.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I do not expect Death Stranding to ever be a game that we play unless we
Nope.
start. All right, take these big ass games.
I mean, I'm
We're
down.
only talking about the first 10 hours. We're only
I
talking about
heart
the
I
first 5 hours.
heart
We're only
veto it.
talking about the first level. Hard no. Pump the
I'm the
brakes.
president.
Present.
All right,
Well, you
well,
have to be like
Wait.
emperors and kings though, so
The
when you're
pres
presenting, you can choose the game.
it's true.
I
the
want to be
president
Norwegian.
the president of jack shit. which
Yeah,
is
that's me.
which is
I'm the president
definitely
of the United
which is
fucking States.
which is definitely like the one quote I remember from that game.
I might adopt that title. That sounds pretty appropriate.
All right. Anyway, okay, so quick recap because there's a lot of bonker shit in this game, and I know I would not be able to keep the plot in my head if I was like, constantly researching it for these videos. This is the recap. I wish Top Right was real. It would have been great.
That would have been great.
So in Mexico, we discovered Desperado was kidnapping street artists and scooping out their brain parts, running them through VR training starting in Mexico, and then finishing in the Desperado HQ in Denver, and then dumping the kids into the war on terror duty as cybernetic soldiers. Desperado / World Marshal has massive sway in the U.S. military, media, and economy, so there's no legal way to do anything about him, which I kind of doubt, in all honesty. But the game has to happen somehow. So Raiden quits and goes with Blade Wolf to Denver to try to rescue the remaining kids at World Marshal HQ. It was kind of hard to put the game's events into 2 paragraphs, and I missed a lot.
Okay, and
unless you want to talk about what
out of this
we're looking at.
out of this GIF where he's hitting the pinata. What is the actual kid from the original thing holding in his left hand? That's what I want to know.
It's a stick with a couple pieces of ribbon paper tied to it.
It's actually just a real human spine, not a cybernetic one.
Oh, like what the kid's holding in his left hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His fist is closed.
Yeah.
It's a human spine.
And it looks
I
like there
don't
is
know-
something there, but I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that question.
I'm a big fan of stop the bad memes. That's pretty good too.
What is
I'm
Time
very
to
fond
leave
of
them all
the
behind.
It's from the song "Leave Them All Behind."
yeah. It's from the Blade Wolf theme. I am very fond of the Boston Dynamics robot, and I hope he's playing his own funky little theme song as the cop robot murders me in my sleep without warning in T minus 5 years.
Yeah, true. I feel that.
Um,
This game is apps. I didn't realize how memeable this fucking game would
well,
be.
this game has been out for a while,
That is
and
true.
the dialogue is very memeable.
Yeah.
Anyway, can you
They
hit me with
talk
a slide,
about
please?
memes.
Yes. Um, So we swoosh into the lobby, and Sundowner pops in onto the jumbotron, and tells us he's surprised that Sam got. He also tells us where to go to exactly get what we want, and he tells us to just go nuts, just go ham, just McFreaking lose it. Which feels like a low-key move from the beginning of Thor: The Dark World, but I think I might be the only one who ever saw that movie ever.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I've seen that
We
movie
start
twice.
in my
Hey, there you
hole.
go.
Um, so we fight starting. We start fighting some cyborgs. We fight a couple of Fenrir UGs, which are the dudes at the bottom left. Which I'm just gonna call them Blade Wolves for the rest of the presentation because
Again, fuck the goddamn linebacker looking motherfuckers. I hate those things.
Oh yeah, those guys
oh
are
my
brutal.
god, I have a lot of shit to talk about those guys in a moment. Um,
Allow me to
and we
introduce my throw.
and we get to some elevators that are blocked off. Doctor and Blade Wolf hack the elevator, while we fight Borgs, Sliders, Mastiffs, shooting mounted positions with RPGs. We outlast the Waves and Doctor slash Wolf. Um, they unlock the elevator. We don't actually have to hop in right away, and there is a surprise mini boss fight with a grad if you wait in the lobby long enough. So you don't actually have
Oh.
to go into the elevators when they unlock, even though Boris and Doctor will constantly bark in your ear that you should go do that right away. You
Yeah.
don't actually have to right away, and there's a surprise mini boss fight.
Oh, cool. Did
Um,
you slice the shit out of the receptionist? Because I definitely did.
Yes.
I I may have wasted an RPG on accident. Slide, please.
That's good.
So Doctor tells us the elevator doesn't stop as high as we need to go because this is the public elevator. So we get off on the top floor. You can reach, and Doctor says we got to bust some panels instead of unhanding someone this time. There's an optional stealth section, and for real, I tried it like a whole 3 or 4 times before I just said fuck it. There's no vision cones, which you need to experiment to figure out where people are looking. And I didn't want to take an hour to figure the golden path out, so I just punched my way through. There's a couple collectibles in the room, and a couple of dudes who I swear to God have nothing but RPGs. Doctor asks
Yeah.
Raiden if he should turn the pain and Hibs off in the coded conversation, and Raiden says, "Just leave it off. He's got it. He's not a murderer anymore. He fixed it. He's okay." Totally believe him. We proceed forward and are faced with a shit ton of sliders, which are the fly guys. Boris
Oh,
tells us
yeah.
to just outrun them. We need to run through the office space, and the sliders just absolutely demolish the building around us. We hop over and under collapsing building parts, and we fight a grad. We reposition by hopping on sliders outside. This would be a great time to have pictures, but I can barely play this game and think about screenshots at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
But we hop on the sliders outside like this is fucking Dead Rising,
Uh-huh.
and then we run vertically up the side of the building, dodging hammerhead fire, sniper fire, and falling debris. We pop back inside the building. Note that we are now further up the building than Blade Wolf. He apologizes for falling behind later. Please slide.
Is this so this
Sure.
is the part where like you're doing like the ninja run and jumping like outside the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
windows and like
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
god, and you fly up the elevator shaft?
Yeah.
I
It's
died.
so cool.
It was sick, but I died on that the elevator shaft thing like 7 times because it's hard as fuck to see when something's falling towards you.
Oh yeah, the depth is a
Yeah.
little funky.
Yeah, it's like because there's
Just
so
because of the speed,
much.
yeah.
There's so you're going so fast. Which first of all, tallest fucking skyscraper known to man, and then
What a thrill.
and then
Darkness and
second of
yeah,
all,
we get it.
there's so many. There's so much explosions and dust up the elevator shaft that you can't see any of the debris falling down
Yeah,
soon
that
enough.
the hammerheads and the sliders, they don't give a fuck about that building, dude. They're just turning it to fucking Swiss cheese around you.
Yeah,
Kind
exactly.
of entertaining, but at the same time, it does make it hard to navigate that sequence.
Uh-huh. This scene was fucking cool.
Yeah.
So this is when I remembered I had access to the sombrero skin, so I put it on. Because in mariachi in Japan felt funny.
Culture clash.
We enter a Japanese garden in the middle of the Denver, Lamau. Doctor says that one of the world marshal admins is an otaku because, of course. He tells us that the brain room is basically going to look like a big server room, and we press onto the garden. This is kind of a big place. RPG guys, mastiffs, some collectibles, but it's not super complex. It is pretty though.
Too
Did
many
the
masses.
RPG guy waiting behind the door get you guys?
He did the first time, but I've played
Mm,
this enough that if you
Um,
do it right, you can sneak around and kill that guy like a Japanese movie where you get on the
yes.
other side of the door and assassinate him
Yeah.
through the door. It's really,
oh,
really
that's
cool.
sick.
Yeah, I was like I did that for the first time ever in this playthrough, and I was like, "Damn, it's fucking cool."
Yeah.
Damn. I don't recall an RPG guy behind a door, possibly, just because I did play this section
Um,
about like
if
two
you
week 2 weeks ago. So
2 weeks ago.
yeah, I played
So yeah.
the first two chapters on this episode, which are what, four, three, four, 3 and 4.
Mhm, yeah.
Uh, I played those like 2 weeks ago, and I literally played the last chapter last night. And I was like, oh, I could have just done this a long time ago because the last chapter is literally just one boss fight. But yeah, we'll get into
Yes.
that.
Pretty
It's a
short.
hell of a boss fight, but it is just one boss fight.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I think what happened with you, we're skipping ahead in the script, but to
But
talk about the last area
go ahead
for
and
just a
keep going though.
for just a split second more.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think what might have happened with the RPG guy is there's a couple of mastiffs and a couple of sword guys down in the next area after that first one, and you can accidentally lead them back. If they destroy the door, the RPG guy just jumps into the fight, and the
Uh,
trap is kind of spoiled, but um that's okay.
and meanwhile, RPG guy's like, oh.
All right, so we ninja run forward to this freight elevator that's going to take us up to the brain room. Classic beat 'em up encounter premise. We fight between two elevators as they hurtle upwards. The
Oh, I
one we're
remember
on
this.
takes some hits. Creative use of dwarf geckos show slowing our elevator down until we clear the mountain jump ship.
Hmm.
So long, Bowser. The mastiffs here actually gave me a shit ton of trouble. Seriously, the get it at once I got to the top of this elevator, I literally had to spend 10-15 minutes killing the two mastiffs and the one slider who fucking shows up here
Yeah,
I think
because
this elevator sequence is one of the hardest parts in the game.
goddamn hard mode mastiffs
yeah.
are the
Uh,
biggest
what
bastards.
what turned out to what I found that ended up helping me was because this is the first mission where this is after you fight that one dude. Who was the last guy we fought?
Monsoon.
Yep.
Monsoon. Yeah, you have his size,
Yeah.
and the size stunned the massives from what I remember.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah,
It charges every like 10-15 seconds. It'll go purple. And if you
yeah,
nail, I think almost any enemy in the game with a purple charged Psy, they'll freak out for like a split second. You can get a couple hits in,
yeah,
but you
you
can
can
also
get
use it to interrupt stuff. So you can interrupt a grab animation, stuff like that.
yeah, exactly. So that definitely helped, but still, it is only
I did
like 15
find
seconds.
a lot of the bosses that I used this on, and this includes the rematches of the couple bosses we fought um previously with the Sai. They do have iframes in their animations. So a couple of the dodge animations, it's like it doesn't matter. It's like I have to hit them with the Sai before or after the animation hits.
Uh huh.
If I throw the Sai when their animation starts and the Sai collides with them while they are dodging, it just passes straight through.
Mm.
But that's something to just learn about the game. That's not game bad, huh? Um Slide please. So we get rematches in the at the beginning of the server room. We get rematches against dummy clones of Mistral and Monsoon,
Yeah.
including a couple of attacks that don't make appearances in their original fights. And while the setting is kind of plain and boring, honestly, they're fun callbacks, and we fight them back to back, which is kind of challenging. Ultimately, I found the Redux fights to be a little easier than the originals,
Yeah.
just because the lack of stage transitions. Mistral was honestly pretty easy already. We still fight Dwarf Geckos for a little bit of Heelys, and Monsoon doesn't have his big magnet ball phase, but I still lose track of his head every single time I EMP him. So when I'm supposed to be able to get a couple free hits in, I just fucking lose him instantly. Bonus
Yeah, I
points
hate that.
if you use their weapons against them. I think this section could have been a cool boss rush if they gave us rematches against Blade Wolf the boss and Gred the boss. But then the section might have dragged on a little bit. Did you guys think any thoughts while you were rematching Monsoon and Mistral? It feels a little weird that if you play this game in one sitting, you can rematch bosses that you played against 2-3 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. It was tough for some reason. I think it wasn't as tough as the first time you fight Monsoon, but you get a
Yeah,
rematch against him pretty quickly, and if you do bad against it the first time, it kind of gives you a chance to do better. So that's
yeah.
good.
Hmm.
Because I guess it is possible. to win the fights by accident and use way more resources than you would have if you had like save scummed it a bit and just restarted until you learned the fight to make it through spending less resources. But I think most people's first instinct, especially people who don't play a whole lot of platinum games and understand that the bosses are something that you're supposed to smack your head against and learn and practice, that is a valid way to play it, is to get to the end, not like how that run went, restart it just to get a better swing at it. I definitely did it I did it a lot for and then I also did it a lot for Sam. So different ways to play the game. Uh, Talking about how games teach you to play them.
Mhm.
Um, uh, bu- 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 bu-
I mean, I thought it was cool. I don't think I died during
yeah,
during it, but
absolutely.
I was
Like,
like, they're changing, and it was like you had to like fight both of them. I was like, oh fuck, this shit's sick.
yeah. There's no preamble between Mistral and Monsoon.
Yeah,
Like right after you beat Mistral, you're like, okay, and then the mist just closes in immediately. Like, oh shit.
yeah, and it also felt kind of good though, just because you already know
Yeah.
their attack patterns, so you're kind of like
Mhm.
you felt like in a
That I
way,
think
if
is
it
why
felt
you
it
fight
felt
them back to
like
back.
new game plus Dark Souls. You just like shit on them. That's how it felt with me though, because you knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, because you have a ton of upgrades that you didn't have. You've spent a lot of BP,
Hmm.
weapons, upgrades, abilities,
Yeah,
moves that you
exactly.
didn't have versus Mistral, that you didn't have versus Monsoon. Um, so that's these fights are good. Even if I think they're a little on the easy side, even on hard mode, but I don't think they're necessarily. I think they're supposed to be fun. I don't think they're supposed to be too big of a challenge.
Uh-huh.
Slide please. This is the brain room. Sundowner explains that the brains are being fed VR programs as conditioning, including desensitizing them to things like injuring civilians and POWs, even snarking that the program is effective because Raiden went through it. In slide, please. That Raiden turned into one hell of a soldier. Really quick aside,
Uh-huh.
at the beginning of the office level, there's a codec conversation that you can have with Boris going over exactly what is going on with Raiden. And Raiden actually says that he couldn't adjust to civilian life. He tried, but he just couldn't, like some of his fellows could. How some part of him can't leave the violent struggle behind. Raiden says that he has to save the kids from VR training for his friends from Liberia who didn't make it out, his friends who might still be alive if only life had put them on a different path than that of child soldiers. He wants to spare these children from the fate that he and his friends shared. This is a really cool point of Raiden's character, and I'm kind of sad that some of that context is lost if you don't call Boris
Mm,
specifically in the codec at
yeah.
the very beginning of the conversation. But to explain the memes, so Raiden and Sundowner will also talk about patriots and the war economy, and I'm going to tell you right now that that shit, we don't have time to unpack all that. Don't worry about it.
That's Metal Gear Solid 4. Don't worry about it.
Slide, please.
Yeah, I bet uh there's a lot of conversation about that Metal Gear 4, which I've never played
Which
either.
is there
But
there might be people who listen to this because like, oh shit, people playing Metal Gear Rising for the first time. I want to hear them talk about that, and I'm gonna walk right up to lore stuff,
mhm,
explanation stuff from the rest of the series, like Metal Gear 4, and I'm gonna say no,
mhm.
I'm not talking about it.
And
We don't have time to get into that.
yeah, also I think this was like the chapters. I actually didn't pull up the codec conversations because I honestly think I just forgot. So
The
I usually did
it's a
it
super
on the
optional thing.
other. Yeah, I usually did it at the beginning of every chapter because like, oh, this is sick. But then like I just completely
Because
forgot to do it for
because
these
it's a
ones.
lot. It's
Yeah,
Kevin,
they're like
Courtney, Doctor, Blade Wolf.
they're like 5 minute conversations each
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, and there can be multiple conversations to have with each person
Yeah.
between missions, and that's just it's an awful lot for the ninja run, sprinty, throw robots over your shoulder, slice people on half game. It's a
Mhm,
lot for that game to ask you, hey, if you want more of the story, stop what you're doing and listen for 5 minutes.
mhm.
It's just players players aren't going to do it. I didn't do it. I literally on a random whim. I was like, oh yeah, Codex, and I called Boris, and I got that conversation. I'm
Mhm.
like, shit. I wish I had the rest of my day to listen to the rest of these Codex conversations. Um, but
Also,
slide please.
stop the memes.
Stop the memes.
They're too dangerous.
I've become a slave to the memes. He tells us that not a whole lot will matter. Um, So he tells us that the Operation Tecumseh is going to go off in 3 hours, and he tells us that what happens after those 3 hours is going to surpass and top 9/11. He tells Raiden to follow him out because neither of them want to fight in the server room and risk damaging the boys. So we go to the helipad outside. There's a couple items to find in this area, and there's a pair of dwarf geckos who are shadowboxing in a corner. And I couldn't get to them, and I don't understand what's happening there at all.
What the hell? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean,
at the beginning of the helipad. I might just pull up my VOD of my playthrough and show you guys. But there is a pair, like it's two dwarf geckos, one of them standing on top of the other. And the one on top is like shadow boxing, literally just in a platform. I couldn't get to them. And I have no idea what the fuck that means.
Some just
But
like
it's like,
random,
please. Yeah.
singing grunt shit.
I have no idea. I don't know what that is. I couldn't find a way to get to them. So Raiden asks what's going to happen in those 3 hours, and Senna replies that even at Mach 2, we couldn't stop it. Not with the slow beating he's going to lay down on us. It's boss fight time. This is Sundowner. Unrelated, Crispin Freeman sounds like he's having a great time here. Crispin Freeman is the voice actor for Sundowner.
Yeah, it was a great performance.
Yeah, he seems like he's having a whole lot of fun. Fucking invincible.
I'm a huge fan of these Famitsu page grabs here.
They are super detailed.
Yeah.
I've never seen them before, and it's always
They're
nice
great
to
spreads.
see these. They're really, really cool. I bet they look super in depth. I wish I could actually read it.
I bet there's translations floating around somewhere.
They're probably
Sundowner fights with a couple of big machetes that we've seen him use, but he throws off the coat to show us a set of 6 exploding armor plates that he attacks with and moves around his body. This fight is a little on the rigid side, but there is a rhythm to it. Just ask me. I became very familiar with how this fight works. So you counter in Zandatsu, right, and you can remove all the explodey panels. I have a little bit of explanation there. You have a Zandatsu when he puts them up, get it right, pause for a moment out of the slow-mo, and then Zandatsu a separate time, again, to cut the panels off without hitting any other panels. So you aim high or you aim low. If you only get the first half, if you only get the first Zandatsu off, you see him recoil and then immediately start to get damage off without Zandatsuing him again. You're a fucking idiot, like me. You're wrong, and you get exploded. Which was a really, I'm going to say it was annoying, but like the way I approached this fight was, all right, the first time I played this game, I was on normal mode and I just brute forced my way through this fight. Second time through, I'm playing hard mode, and I literally just like, I would get something wrong and say, fuck it, restart, go again. And I'd fuck it up and get exploded. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to roll back. And I'm sitting there, attempt number 5 or 6. And I'm just like, no, I'm fucking mad about this. I'm going to figure it out. I'm gonna do this fight over and over and over and over again until I can beat him without spending any resources. I'm gonna learn this fight. I'm gonna master this fight on hard mode, and I did. And it took me like 8 or 9 tries, but I fucking figured the fight out. So I was mad when after like I have like 160% health at this point because I found to pick up an early level, so I have 160 health total, and I ended his fight with like 120. Literally the entire boss fight. He didn't deal barely any damage to me.
Damn.
And then on the other side of the cutscene, the game puts me at 20% health. I'm like, fuck you. I had more health than that. Don't do that to me. So I was mad about that because I feel like I earned that health. But so you counter on that too, like I explained, and you can remove all of the exploding panels, which is preferable because without them, he will consistently explode you if you hit him while he has them at all. I wish the game had communicated better that the explosion armor is a state he is in while he has any panels, not when he has the animation to put them up. But well, you can beat him without removing the panels, which will take resources, but it can be done. You either kill him that way, or he moves on to a second phase-ish, where he puts his machetes together, and he gets to slug it out, which is kind of funny. Like he doesn't have his arm anymore. He's like, fuck it, I guess we'll just duke it out. The hammerhead in the background of the scene is annoying, but I didn't want to use a homing rocket to kill it. While Sundowner would just rush me with the bomb rush every single time. Slide please.
Blast.
We win. He goes blasting off again, but he hangs onto a gunship as we get pelted with missiles and thrown off a building. Now follow me here. We're flying off the building. We see a slider. Raiden has played Devil May Cry 4.
Mhm.
We stab the slider in the CPU, and
And
now we control it.
control it.
We
That shit,
steer it back
that
with
shit
Obviously.
our
cracked
sword.
me up, dude. Oh
We
my.
steer it with our sword
It's a USB sword.
through through the building. No, it's that hacking knife from Titanfall.
Of
Mhm.
course.
We steer it back of the building and up to the roof, which is an elevator shaft that goes to the roof, which we didn't take on the first way up. We cut our way out of that and under the helipad. I have so many questions about how this building's
Uh-huh.
put together.
Yeah, yeah.
We fling the slider at the gunship, and then we hack Sundowner to ribbons.
As
How
you
do we
fly
feel about
towards you.
Sundowner as a fight?
As a fight,
Yeah,
probably like the least interesting fight, but I think he might be my favorite desperado. I
a
think he's
favorite character, least favorite boss.
he's got lots of really fun personality. He's very bombastic and obnoxious and fun,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
but the fight is kind of eh.
Yeah,
Because I
the
think
fight did frustrate me a little bit because
because
for
how
me,
exactly the bomb panels work is not
well,
easy to figure
yeah,
out.
I figured it out. I was like, all right, like I countered and eventually like, and I'm not even entirely sure what the fuck even causes it, but eventually it says and tells you to Zendatsu and it tells
Yeah,
you which panels to cut. Like there's
yeah,
usually like it highlights two panels, but for me it's just like the cutting mechanic, the Zendatsu mechanic is
yeah,
really good for just like slicing like crazy all over the
yeah.
place.
Just
But
going nuts on it.
yeah, but when it comes to a precision cut in a specific line horizontally or vertically, I I just couldn't get it. I
So
kept missing
I
it.
can I can explain how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how you go to Zandatsu and you can use your right stick to line it up, right?
Yes.
When you have it lined up, which is where you hear the little ping noise
Mm,
and you see the little
mhm.
crosshairs on every one of the little boxes,
Mhm.
just let the right stick go. Don't swipe it all the way across. Because when you swipe it all the way across, you create another arc. It'll follow that instead.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you literally just line it up once, let the stick go, and that's he'll slice it perfectly every time.
Okay, that's so yeah.
So
Because me, it was
so
I
yeah,
was lining it up, and then yeah, I would try to like I would line it up and
yeah.
then flick it that direction.
Because if you line it up right, as in your model is in the right position relative to Sundowner, and you go to Zandatsu, and the way the manual aiming, it's lined up all the way up, and you hit Y, it'll create a random vertical arc, and you'll get exploded
Oh,
because when you hit X or Y, you're using the automatic aiming,
yeah, yeah.
and the manual aim only works with the right stick. So that I fiddled around with it enough that I figured it out. Was you literally just you line it up with the right stick and then just let the stick
Let it
go,
go, and it just slices.
and you'll do the perfect slice every single time. Um, and I also found out after Jesus like 20 hours in this game, how to deal with gold attacks, and you're supposed to use offensive defenses, which is just X and A at the same time. I'll just do a
Yep,
dodge backwards. And
that's your
You do
invincible move.
what?
okay,
It's
so
a
you
it's a move that you get after you beat a level. There's upgrades under upgrade moves. It's called offensive defense. It's basically like an invincible counter move.
And do you
Ye-
just you press what do you press X and A?
Yeah,
X and A at the
and
same
he'll do
time.
like a
And
hopping attack.
Yeah,
okay.
he'll do a slash and hop backward.
I have that, but I didn't
So do I,
realize it was that
and I've literally
effective.
never used it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like his best move.
Okay.
Literally that
Wow.
that specific move is how you counter unblock
That would
attacks.
have been
Literally that.
very effective
Exactly.
against the Mastiffs.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Because dude, let me tell you, my boss fight against Sam, oh my god, did I not get it at first. And I was like, I feel like I understand 80% of this fight. And then I get to the last 20%, and he just fucking counters me or grabs me or whatever. And I'm like, well, these fucking gold moves, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So I looked it up, and the first answer was, yeah, just hit X and A, bro. That's your dodge move. That's how you deal with it. And I'm just
Yep.
like, what do you mean the X and A move? And she's like, yeah, it's an upgrade. It's one of the first, like, it's like the first option besides the midair parry.
Uh-huh.
And I looked it up and I was like, shit, I've had that for my whole run. What the fuck?
Mhm.
I guess that's why you're supposed to do the VR training missions, but ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Talking again about how games teach you to play to play them, and I just thought the GIF of the dwarf gecko clapping was funny.
Yeah.
It looks like
It's
he's
just
throwing a
yeah, it
bunch of
looks
grenades at him
and
and
missing,
missing.
and then he's
Yeah.
just grimaces.
You son of a bitch.
um, counters and Datsu. It goes. Now we control it. Listen to the codec call. Okay. We listen to the codec call, and Sunder gives us kudos for killing him. It only took me 10 resets. And tells us that Armstrong launches Operation Tecumseh in 3 hours, creating a world where PMCs are in high demand. Sundowner also calls Sam to tell Sam that he is going to get his 1v1 after all. And Sundowner self-destructs. That was Sundowner, and we call our support staff to figure out what the fuck is going on. Slide, please.
Oh yeah, and Sam and Sundowner like bicker, like
Yeah, for
one
like
left.
a split second.
He's like,
That's yourself shade.
he's like, bastard. He's just literally just dying, and I don't even know how the fuck he's talking, but you know.
Oh, this sequence is like goddamn one of my favorite parts of this whole game.
It's kind of crazy. So
Yeah,
Doctor
this part
heads to
is sick.
Denver, to World Marshal's HQ to unscoop, rescoop, all of the brains and let them play Minecraft VR instead of fucking Doom. And Raiden talks with Kevin and Boris about what Operation Tecumseh might actually be. They actually used Sundowner's line about even at Mach 2 they couldn't stop it to get a rough radius around them that the thing might be going down at. That also implies that they trust Sundowner when Sundowner says even at Mach 2 you couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
They're going out on a limb, but this is a platinum game more than it is a Kojima game.
Sundowner's like, I don't know, dude. I just threw out a number that sounded fast.
I don't know. Do I look like I know what Mach is?
I know Mach 1. I know Mach 1's fast, so Mach 2's faster, right? I just said
It's gotta be like twice as fast.
That's twice as fast, right?
Double Mach 1, that's like Mach 11. They after a quick Black Dynamite piecing it together segment, we figure out that it's in Pakistan, where the sitting U.S. president is scheduled to arrive in the next 3 hours. They guess that Tecumseh is killing the president and detonating a powder keg effect in an unstable region that would ignite a second war on terror and fuel global violence for another undefined stretch of history. Quick side note: did Platinum and Kojima Productions think that the war on terror wouldn't last much longer than 2014 when this game came out?
I think this is.
I guess not.
Not in 24.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't
because
have a good
they're talking about starting another war on terror, right? Like at this point in the history of the game, the war on terror has died down.
Well, that's Kojima not really
it's
having a good grasp of American politics.
Yeah, you know what? Good point.
It's just a patch. It's 2.0.
Where he saw Zero Dark 30 and he was like, "Oh, this is current."
But
so this is from the cutscene, which I think is funny. When Raiden gets up out of the chair in a moving helicopter and goes toward the cargo ramp, and Doctor says, "Have a nice flight." And Raiden says, "And people say Germans aren't funny." And the butt shot is when he's getting into the copter, not getting out of it, because I just felt like including it. But while we're thinking about how we could possibly cover 4,500 miles in 3 hours, Courtney calls, reminding us that she's a part of the game. And she suggests an RLV craft. I forget about her every time.
I literally forgot about her too. I was like, oh, this lady.
Like,
the girl character.
The girl character suggests an RLV craft that launches from Colorado, which can reach Mach 23 and get to Pakistan in less than 30 minutes. I think it's just the SR-71 Blackbird. Like the role in the story is the same thing. But it can get to Pakistan in less than 30 minutes. Nice. Boris says he'll call in a favor to get Raiden on the next flight, and Raiden helps Doc grab the brains from World Marshal. Slide, please. On the heli flight out, with Doctor at the helm, Raiden and Doctor are accosted by unmanned fighter UGs, and Doctor pushes F to pay respects as Raiden throws himself out the back of the fucking helicopter to take both of them out. Doctor can't actually go back for Raiden when Raiden understandably took his one-way ticket. But there is a fade to black. Raiden gets up in a crater, still in Denver. Doctor gets away safe, and Raiden ends up fine. But now we need to call an Uber.
I remember. I remember when like Raiden was like jumping back to like fly back into the helicopter.
It was quite the move.
Yeah, that was really rad. Man, I love this whole fucking cutscene. Like they do it because it's like a whole reward for getting like this far.
Yeah. But the funny part to me though was like I was actually surprised that Raiden didn't make it back into the helicopter just because of how ridiculous this game is. I was like, oh
He, like,
damn. I was like, damn, he's gonna make it back, and he doesn't. I'm like, oh shit. They
Yeah, it's kind of
actually
like
surprising.
just how hard Doctor has to pitch the fucking Chinook he's driving
I
to like give Raiden a way back into the copter. Like that was so violent, and like he clips his fucking chin metal jaw thing
Mhm.
on his way in. This cutscene is bonkers, and a lot of the cutscenes are bonkers, and it's very funny.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
When he cuts the freaking thing, the goddamn thing in half, I was like, his sword's not
yeah,
that long, but it was fucking cool.
I
But it's
mean,
cool,
he,
so
didn't,
it
he cut,
is.
he didn't have
he
no.
cuts,
He has no
dude.
Sephiroth sword or some shit.
He cuts Metal Gear Ray in half.
Yeah,
That's
I
Yeah, he
like
know.
totally does.
I thought
that's like the second cutscene we ever see.
I said the same thing to myself back then too.
Plasma field. Plasma field. It's the electric
Nanomachines.
sword. Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Oh
so
my god, the
we fight
sombreros on top of the box. I didn't
and
know
the
it
little
did that.
and the
Oh
little bit
my
on the right is
the
Raiden's poncho
yeah,
clipping out of the
clipping
box.
out
By
of the
the way,
box.
Oh, I
Oh
see
my
that. Yeah.
god, that's
um,
amazing.
we fight dwarf geckos, raptors, full geckos, and a couple blade wolves. Boris gives us a letter route on the radar. Saving the civilian from the two dudes in the grad is actually really hard. We get ambushed for mastiffs when we go for an item a little later. Then we walk out of town. We borrow a motorcycle. Unrelated funny fact: the bike belongs to Jetstream Sam. At least that's what the wiki says. I'm assuming that it's
Oh.
set up in the DLC. Wolf tells us that he'll meet us at the launch site, and we get Sundowner swords called Bloodlust, and that is Denver in the top pictures. I thought are funny because I am locked onto my target in the right one. I have a lot of pictures of Raiden in a bloodstained box standing next to a corpse on the ground, like a fucking cryptid.
The box ate him. It was
The box
brutal.
ate them. I have been researching a lot of control. Altered objects are just on my mind.
Were these
What?
Hold up.
What?
Was this just one chapter?
No, this was
This was two, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was
Okay.
two. So getting out of so this paragraph, the one we're on, we
Mhm.
fight dwarf geckos, and then we find a motorcycle.
Yeah,
That's one chapter.
That's what.
Es-
Okay.
Escape from Denver is really short.
Okay.
It's pretty
I
short. If you
Yeah,
have
the whole office building to fight Sundowner is pretty long.
Mhm.
Escape
Yeah.
from Denver is pretty short, and then Badlands Showdown is one boss fight.
Yeah. That I was just making sure because I thought I was like, oh no, did I only complete 2 chapters?
also if you grab Sundowner's scissor blades, you can either one shot or two shot pretty much any enemy at this point.
Oh,
It
really?
does a ludicrous amount of
I
damage.
didn't
It does an awful lot of damage.
I didn't have enough BP to buy it at the end of that
Mm.
chapter,
It's
unfortunately.
the only boss weapon I bought in this whole run, and I'm
So
so glad I saved up for it.
Oh, nice, nice.
so on hard mode, enemy attacks come out so fast and
Mhm.
so frequently, and you fight groups way more often that I find it really hard to use Bloodlust in fights. I end
Mhm.
up sticking way more with Mistral with Mistral's weapon just to chip everyone around me, or I use size Monsoon's side to stick to one big target in the middle of the fight. But I did toy around with Bloodlust and literally just having a move list that's 4 or 5 moves long because that's how fucking beefy that weapon pair is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It feels good. It's a
Ye-
big chunky boy.
You can cut enemies in half with it
Yeah.
at the waist. It's great. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
it.
Kind of like at the beginning when it showed
Yeah.
like that view of the guy's eyes and then it just cuts his head off.
You go to MGR tube, POV Sundowner fucking kills you in first person.
Yeah.
So Raiden rides for 2 hours. I assume his cyber butt is sore, and we meet Wolf and Jessim Strand outside of the ROV launch site. Wolf gets a pet in front of Sam and then walks over to us. He tells us that he knows Sam really, really well, has analyzed Sam's actions and possible motivations, and can't really figure out why the fuck he's doing any of this shit. Slide, please. I'm assuming we're gonna find out in the DLC. Raiden thanks Sam for not murdering everybody at the launch site, something he surely has the power to do. And Sam tells us that the aftermath of the war they're trying to start is the real payoff. Raiden says that the point is the money and the contracts for World Marshal. Sam says that the issue is ideals, and that history will decide who is right. I think this is a very convenient position for for someone who has been cutting people in half for money since the moment we saw him. To hold. We walk over to a field. Blade Wolf wonders aloud again if we really need to do this. He tells us that there's some medical supplies around because apparently a World Marshal copter crashed around here somewhere. Probably the one that brought Jetstream Sam out. Ren says that he doesn't care who's right or wrong, that he just cares about getting to cut Sam down. Sam laughs, and then it's time for Jetstream Sam.
All right, I have an editorial real quick.
Sure.
I'm straight as an arrow, but like,
The butt?
yeah, like we just admire the dump
That-
truck that Sam possesses right
that
now. Like, does he have a
donk.
license for that?
Was it Chonky Honky
And-
Gonky Bahonky?
And at first I was thinking, now that you pointed out, I was thinking like, oh yeah, it's just his cyber ass, it's just cybernetics. But then when you kill him, it says like he
Like,
hardly
no,
had
baby.
any cybernetic enhancements. I was like, no, okay, well
100%.
that ass is 100% genuine.
That's just how he's built,
Jetstream
baby.
Sam's ass.
Built different.
Built different.
And I also
Real
thought
samurai.
I thought the whole thing of like just talking and then walking off to the side knowing that they're about to like fucking fight to the death, like kind of like the whole spaghetti western kind of like standoff
Yeah.
thing. I just like
Yeah.
that whole dynamic.
I'm sure that it's the high deserts in Colorado. There's got to be a tumbleweed around there somewhere. Can you hit me with that slide thing?
Oh my
Oh, nice.
god.
Sam is a really tasty fight, a duel. Someone of your size who can do what you do. It is a straight up skill check, and honestly, it feels good every time. I spent about 20 minutes fighting him on hard, and very, very seldom did damage that I took feel like it wasn't my fault. This fight is really short, but really, really intense. This piece of artwork
It's
is
amazing.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's
A
kiss,
spicy
dude.
meatball.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Who is the artist?
If I could read Japanese, I would know who the maker is, because I think that's the text on the right side.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who made this, and it's been on the internet long enough that every reverse Google image search says that they're the ones who made it, or it's reposted for posters, merch, whatever, without any credit. So I try to find my sources for stuff. I don't know where this one came from. I'm sorry. If you know who made this, please tell us, put it in the comments, email us, and we will add an addendum to the next episode where we talk about who made it and how you can support them. Because God fucking damn it, do they deserve it? This thing's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And if
I
and
want
if you're
this.
just
I want
and
this
if you're just
framed.
listening, if you're just listening, it's a artist rendition of Jetstream Sam versus Raiden, but with like Japanese woodblock style. It's honestly it's a modern twist on the Japanese art block style, but like there's cherry blossoms, there's like Japanese mountains, there's like swallows, there's the Great Wave, the Nami, there's a Japanese castle. They're very stylized. It's very, very cool, very, very, very sleek, very clean, very professional looking, and whoever this is deserves all the money. If you know who it is, please tell us so that we can at least shove some exposure in the direction. Please, please, please.
And Sam's wings and eyeshadow are on point as well.
Oh, yes, yes.
Slide, please. He has combos. He can dodge really, really far to set up some blade rushes if we can't close the distance with him. And you can enter an interesting phase where you disarm him and he fights unarmed for a bit, mainly grabbing and kicking. And he
yeah, I hated it.
Yeah, and he will punish any sprinting sword heavies, which I think is funny. Literally counters it every single time.
Yep.
He'll also laugh about it. I got a little frustrated before. I'm like, Brian, play the game. Stop sprinting. Stop sprinting sword heavy. I am not exactly sure why we beat him here and lose to him in the beginning of the game, because
Because your body
he's-
was shitty and outdated then, and now your new
Okay.
body's on super mega hacker steroids.
because now we can eat people's spines.
Yeah, that's true. You weren't in your edgy mindset back then.
Your edgy
Because-
spine eating day.
Because we don't beat
Yeah.
him in a cutscene with Ripper mode. Like we don't. I guess it's just a different. Whatever. I think it's because Raiden has realized more of who he is and fights with a purpose. So
That's
I
true.
suppose the theming of the story here is that Sam's resolve is weaker now that Raiden has more self-realized.
I
We
always after you get ripper mode in the context of the game and how it's utilized in terms of plot, I always saw it used by Jack in Raiden, Jack, whatever, in short bursts,
yeah.
even in like contextualizing it in the plot where you would use it in a combo to
Mm,
maximize the damage. I
yeah.
assume he like turns that switch on and off like almost
That
literally.
that that it's used thematically like it's used mechanically
Uh,
Yes.
in short bursts.
Yes.
Got it. Um, so we yeet and delete Sam, who winks at Wolf as he dies, and
yeah.
Wolf is kind of sad about it. Their relationship is something that we don't really have a whole lot of insight into, though I'm assuming we can call Wolf mid missions and he can tell us about it. But I think we'd have to play the DLC to get the whole story. Um, so we also get a look at Sam's body underneath the armor, and we find out that he was almost entirely unaugmented. The suit he was wearing was just armor with no cybernetics, which makes losing to him in the prologue sting a little bit more. Raiden tells him to fucking figure it out or something. Stop being sad. Have you tried that? Just go outside, touch some grass. Um,
Wish
we
I would
pick
have
up
thought of
Sam's
that.
sword. Right? Shit, I should have tried that. We pick up Sam's sword, which is ID locked, so we can't use the gun holster or the high frequency mode in it. So it's just a really nice sword. Wolf takes it for nostalgia and tells us that he inherited it from his father. So Wolf
Hmm.
takes it just for the nostalgia. Boris reminds us that we have less than half an hour to, you know, less than an hour, sorry, to fly around the world. So we hop back on the bike. Uh, that was Jesse and Sam, and this is the ending section of the game is all that's left. Slide. How do we feel about Sam?
Uncle Man
This
asserts
this,
dominance in a
this
cardboard
was
box.
You're
this was the wrong
amazing.
move, and he stingered me immediately. Like
Um,
this 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 was um no, I just disarmed him. So that
yeah, he's probably
that red
grabbing
flash
you.
goes yellow, and he grabbed me like literally. I was holding left bumper as the cutscene was ending because I wanted to get this shot. So like I was holding left bumper and hitting Alt F1 to take a screenshot with G-force as the cut. Then this is the frame, and he
You,
grabbed me immediately.
you can
Yeah.
see the gleam in his eye, just
Yeah,
barely, but it's there.
um,
he punished me really hard for the disrespect, but I thought it was funny.
so he was, in a way, I felt like he was like relatively like easy, but I feel like every time I got
I feel like
hit,
I feel like he was more straightforward than he was easy.
yeah, yeah, but like every time you got hit though, he did like 15% damage. So he did a lot of
He
damage
did
like
do
every
a
single time he
honking
hit
amount of
you.
damage.
And probably the only thing I have like kind of a complaint about is like he has like a back like a roundhouse kick that
Yeah,
comes out really fucking
it ki-
quick and it's
it
extremely
does come out
hard to
really
like
fast.
read it. But and then I started to whenever you get the was it Kendatsu?
Zandatsu.
Zandatsu. Whenever you get that prompt and you can cut his hand and make him drop his
Yeah,
Yes.
sword.
Yes, I
I
love that.
just anytime that happened, I avoided cutting his sword because he was very annoying when he was in
yeah.
hand to hand
He
because
does get pretty aggressive.
yeah, he gets really aggressive. He does like he basically does the same attack over and over, which is that grab thing, which is easy to
Yeah,
parry.
he has two kicks in the grab,
Yeah, yeah.
and he'll just spam those basically.
Yeah, and it was just annoying because then anytime after you parried him, you didn't have enough time to get in there and attack him because he would jump away. I
Yeah,
still had the size, so you would do the heavy attack where you like uh basically like almost like the Doom Eternal shotgun. You chain to him and
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
leap to him, but then he would just dodge to the side. And so
yeah.
it
He
was
you
hard to do damage to him in this state, so I just stopped cutting
the
that
sai
sword.
would connect. You would begin flying toward him, but he had already dodged all the fucking way out of there,
Yeah,
so
pretty
you couldn't
much.
connect with anything. He took a little bit of damage from the sai hit, and you could. There's no follow up.
And I did die one time. I literally had I mean, I died multiple times, but there was one time when I died where I think he had like 40% health, and I literally had like 1.2% health. So one more hit would have killed me. And I got him all the way down to 0.1% health. And at that moment, he stops. His health stops right there until you get like a prompt, which is where you
Yeah,
press Y
until you
and
get
B at the same time.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
grab prompt. Yeah,
And I felt so good because I was 1.2%. I was like, one hit, I'm dead. I brought him all from 40 all the way down, and I got that prompt and I missed it and I died.
No.
okay. So So the thing that happens with prompts like that, and I missed the one for Sundowner a couple times too, or I missed it with with enemies in general, enemies that I was stunning, geckos. It happened a lot with the mastiffs, where I I don't understand I don't have any consistent tells in my mind for when that prompt is going to happen. So I would be comboing, the prompt would come up, I wouldn't be able to cancel the hit that I was going through, and I would hit them, hit the combo, the prompt would vanish, they would bot me. And that's what happened in this fight a couple times because the prompt would interrupt something that I was doing, and finishing the thing that I was doing removes the prompt. So I'd go for the prompt, it was already gone. That happened a couple times. I'm not sure. That's like a hitch, like a technical thing. It didn't make or break a couple of fights
Mhm.
for me, but I did notice where it's like a weird, yeah, just like a weird hitch in the way I and the game are shaking hands.
So I played this game the first time with just the samurai sword, the normal weapon without buying
Yeah.
any boss fight swords. So this time I use Sundowner's blades against Sam. If you get a good charged hit on him, it does 20%.
Ooh.
I beat him on my third try, I think, and I got an A rank. And I was like, wow, fuck me, this is just the best goddamn weapon in the game, I think.
Unlike me getting a fucking bitch ass C rank.
So I think I might have gotten a B question mark. So with this fight, I also did the salty run back where I feel like I wouldn't understand something, so I'd restart. And by the time I got through this fight, by the time I finished it and felt happy with it, I'd only spent one healing item, and uh I think I was at like 80, 90 health. So I fairly felt like I understood the fight. One of his combos, his 4-hit combo without the stagger in the middle, his 4-hit combo, the third hit would come out really, really fast, and I would miss the parry constantly. I missed a couple of the kick parries. Um, he landed one or two grabs, um, but hard mode just not even getting hit that much. I needed to spend a healing item because he just did a lot of damage.
Mhm.
He's very aggressive, dodges very far. The blade rushes were really, really cool. I really just mashing the fuck out of that parry, dude. But anyway, Kim, you hit me with a side, please. So that is the end of the plot for this part of the game. So
Mhm.
now we got to talk about the music, baby. We got two new themes.
Music.
Music. We got Red Sun for Sundowner, and The Only Thing I Know for Real for Sam. Red Sun, savage and violent imagery that deifies conflict and violence. The Only Thing I Know for Real. It is written from Sam's perspective and talks only about knowing how to kill rather than knowing why he kills. Talk to us after his fight, even the coded conversation, even though he hasn't sliced it to bits, because he has very limited cybernetic enhancements, and he's also very dead. So, can we go to the music, please? So this is a
And
little bit more
then
informal.
also
I
I
gotta
feel
so the gifs in this segment, um when we get to Denver, it's just from Sam fucking with us. Beginning of the boss fight, top right for Sundowner,
uh-huh.
bottom left beginning of the boss fight for for Sam, bottom right, this is Sundowner's animation when you bust all of his um
Thermal
blast
shields,
shields.
yeah.
Yeah, and he connects his machetes to fight you,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of cool, especially because I'd never seen it before. The thing with Sundowner, like mastering the first half of that fight took me 8 or 9 tries.
Uh-huh.
I beat his second phase the first time I ever saw it. Sundowner's fight was really weird for me, where
Uh
it seemed like the first half of that fight was learning it technically, learning how to do it. And once I did that, it was a breeze. I didn't spend any healing items. I barely took any damage, and I beat the second phase the first time I saw it. So I Sundowner's a weird fight. Good, but a little weird for me.
uh-huh.
So anyway, if we want to go to the music
What
and
is the
ignore the
ranking?
fact that I have weird margins on the left and the right for the presentation, I didn't notice. What's the
What are the rankings we have for the current songs right now?
Oh, Christ.
dare I say Ryan had almost called him Ryden. Ryan I think had it written down somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think I actually do, but if I remember correctly, it was Rules of Nature, Blade Wolf, Mistral, Monsoon. Does that sound
No,
right?
I found it.
Oh,
It's
what
Oh,
was it then?
you had it
it's
written down. Thank you.
no, it's in the Discord.
Oh,
Four.
ah,
Oh,
4 Rules of Nature, 3 Blood Wolf, 2 Monsoon, 1 Mistral.
I'm surprised. Okay. Huh.
we also
Well,
had
All
it
right.
aggregated. It was between all of us.
yeah. Alrighty.
Okay,
So we'll get
so
to
let's.
that, and if any listeners want to join in on that,
Yeah.
basically listen to the
So
songs.
this is the part of the show where we tell you guys go on YouTube, go on Spotify. The album's out there. Whole thing is great, but specifically listen to the boss themes. They are denoted by it'll say verses.
Uh-huh.
It'll in like parentheses next to the title of the song. In order, Grand Blade Wolf is fuck I forget the name of it. Not Rules of Nature? No, Rules of Nature is the Ray.
Yeah,
Blade Wolf is Blade Wolf. Uh,
we can't remember the
um,
names.
Mistral is
But I
I'm
mean,
playing
if they were following from the
A
last
Stranger
episode, they should
Remain.
know. Yeah,
Monsoon is Stains of Time. Sundowner is Red Sun. Jessica Sam is The Only Thing I Know for Real.
yes. So the two we're
So
gonna listen to right now,
yeah,
we'll cut to when we're done finishing them is Red Sun and The Only Thing I Know for Real. Those are the two songs. If you
then
would
we
like
will
to.
re-rank them, and you can, with your powerful gamer hands, go into the comment section and command us to repent our opinions and that we're dum-dums for
How dare
not
you hate Metal
ranking.
Gear Rising music in the Metal Gear Rising podcast? I hate you. Go die.
And then we block. Goodbye.
All right.
Okay, we are back.
All right. Just listen to it. I really like the solos on both of those.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sundowner's track is a little bit more reserved, but I think that might also be because in all of the boss fights, there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah,
Um, but I think Sundowner's is a little bit more reserved than Sam's is.
definitely is. Yeah.
Because Sam is of the 4 wins, he is the most direct foil, right? He
Mhm.
is a guy with a sword. Um, so we have a lot more beef with him thematically than the other characters.
And
All right.
it may go against what I said last episode because I did say
Opinions
like
change?
when no, it's not so much opinions change. I just
Hmm.
think it just depends on like it's just the context basically. But I said when it comes to like music, like lots of times I'm a huge advocate for less is more. And what is it? Sundowners definitely is like less, I would say, than than Sam's, but
Mhm.
I think I still liked Sam's more than Sundowners.
Yeah, I remember we started the Stains of Time, and you're like, "Oh Jesus, with this Dragon Force nonsense." Oh my God.
Yeah.
Which you're not wrong. Stains of
And
Time is
I
very
am
busy.
not the biggest fan of power metal.
Yeah, I don't think I am either.
It's three Korean kids with electronic keyboards in a trench coat pretending to be a genre.
Now, I will ask, do we still think that Monsoon is better than Wolf?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I think with monsoons, I think the big thing about monsoons is that the chorus and the singing is actually really catchy.
Okay.
It kind of
Yes,
helps bring the music down a little bit.
Yeah, the overall chaos of that track, all the different things going on, the electronic scratching, the vocal scratching, all that stuff, I think reinforces the fucking fiesta that Monsoon's boss fight is.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Alright,
that's
I'm
why
not gonna die in the hill or anything.
that's why it works for me.
And I feel like
So I
I
always
like
regard
if
his
it's
boss fight like that.
it fits Monsoon's like fight and character so well though too. And that's the thing I feel like about with Sundowners though in terms of like the song. The song's great, but I also don't feel like I wasn't expecting that out of a Sundowner fight. I don't know. Maybe I was expecting more drum heavy, I guess, and just kind of
Some
beefier,
something a
I
little
guess.
something a little like chuggier
Hmm.
to reflect him thematically as a slower but more powerful combatant.
Yeah.
Mm.
It kind of is a little bit slow
It
and
is.
chuggy, but
It
I would
definitely
call
is.
it grungy.
slower than the other people's tracks.
Grungy and under all that armor, he's wearing a Nirvana shirt.
No, it'd
Yeah,
be
he's a big fan of Smells of Teen Spirit for sure. Certainly.
it'd be
Oh.
a Black Flag shirt.
I need to fix.
He's a huge fan of Alice in Chains.
And, my Chemical Romance shirt. No,
Okay,
Mistral's
no,
wearing that one. Mistral's wearing that one.
Hard veto as the president of Jack shit. Okay, so if you ask me, moi,
Yeah,
what
go
I
ahead.
think it is,
Vibe
I
check.
literally, well, I know what I can get away with and I know what I can't get away with. So
Oh, there we go.
I would honestly just say put Sundowner above Mistral, put Sam above Sundowner, and that's where we end up.
That's
That's
what
fine.
that's what I was thinking. I was kind of thinking about putting Sundowner in between Mistral and Monsoon, but I do think it might be a bit of recency bias, but who knows? I think
Maybe
we
We can go back and listen to the
very
other one
good.
if you want. They're only like 2 minutes. We can refresh our memory if you want to. That's all I'm saying.
I don't.
hmm,
I think.
I personally don't feel the need to.
yeah.
What would you say? What would you do, Brian? In terms of the list.
In terms of the list, I think Grad and Ray toward the bottom, Blade Wolf kind of toward the bottom. So we're really just I think this is just a conversation about the Winds of Destruction. And I think between them, I think it's personally, I think it's Sam, Mistral, Sundowner, Monsoon. I like Mistral's theme a lot. Because I think Mistral's theme speaks to her character a little bit
Yeah.
in a way that I think Sundowners doesn't. In a way that
I
I think
was mentioning that, yeah.
yeah, in a way that I think Monsoon's does, in the way the track is put together. So if that's the argument I'm making, it would really be Sam, Mistral, Monsoon, Sundowner, but putting Sundowner at the bottom feels wrong.
Right?
I wouldn't put
No.
Sundowner anywhere near the bottom, but
it's definitely I'd say it's definitely top 3 behind Mistral.
Yeah, I think if
Sure.
you put a gun to my head, I think Mistral's toward the bottom, even though I literally just put her second. But if my life is on the line and you tell me stop having bad taste, I would say fine.
Stop
Mistral's on
having
the bottom.
bad taste.
So
Okay.
I'm fine to put. I'm fine to put Sundowner in third place if that's what y'all want. It's up to y'all.
Well, it's up to we all.
It's
We're putting an aggregated list together. We have to agree on it. So it's not up to y'all. It's up to Wall.
Wall.
We're all
English
agreed
language.
that Sam is at the top because I know y'all I gotta stop saying that word. I know all of you like that
All
song.
y'all. All
And I
you
think it's a
all.
good song.
The
I think it's a
double
good song.
bass.
Man, I feel like I let's put Sundowner in second for now.
Yeah.
And see where we feel.
Is Monsoon third, Sam first?
Yes.
I feel okay with that.
Okay. I feel like Monsoon and Mistral swap places. I thought Mistral was at the top.
No, Mistral is at the top.
What? She's in.
Well, no, she was at the top in the previous list. Yeah.
Oh, now she's in
when
fourth?
we had less.
No,
Yeah.
well, okay, I'm confused. So Monsoon and
okay,
Mistral
so-
flipped.
Okay, so I've been saying last or bottom because we're basically not talking about Ray's theme and Blade Wolf's theme.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You guys are great. You're a very good dog. I'm sure I'm gonna fall in love with you all over again in the DLC. But I'm basically not including them in the conversation.
Yeah. Because they're at the bottom.
Because they're clear, obvious. The conversation we're having is about top 4, which is just the Winds of Destruction.
Fuck that dog.
I really should. Hey, I really should be nice. I really
My
should.
dog is at the top of my personal list, but I am making
I know.
concessions for,
I know.
for all of you.
We that'd be that'd be an interesting ranking. Rank them as characters, not as rank them as characters. Rank them as boss fights. Rank them as musical themes.
Well, Sam's at the top,
That'd be a
so.
fun.
So it's just Sam, I guess.
Sam
Okay.
is best boy.
Pick like that.
So the list is what then? Sam, Sundowner, Monsoon, Mistral?
I thought it was Mistral Monsoon because that's what it was.
I don't know.
Before.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it was before.
I would say Mistral Monsoon.
Yes.
I mean, I'm fine to swap.
I'm not.
Okay.
Then-
Okay.
Well,
Then-
no,
then I have
now.
we have to keep talking about it.
Yeah, we do. I have
Well,
an idea
no,
then.
well, now it's up to
Okay.
you, Brian. What do you think?
What do you mean it's up to me?
Because
Brian
he
has,
thinks
Brian has an idea.
He thinks
Brian,
they
you
should
have
swap.
the floor.
Okay.
Okay. I say we swap. Christ, this is a stupid fucking idea. We swap Monsoon with Sundowner and put him in second. No, that's not what's the problem here. The problem is that Mistral's too low, so we put Sundowner at the bottom? No, that's fucking stupid too. Okay.
Sundowner third.
Who's in second then?
Mistral? If Sam's clear
I think-
first, and I feel like he is,
Yes.
because I feel like we can't untangle the boss fight from the music, because come on.
Mhm.
So I think Sam's a clear first, which means we're talking about we can lock him in, just like we've locked Grad and Blade Wolf at the bottom. We're talking about Monsoon, Mistral, Sundowner.
Okay. Well, here's the thing.
I think Sundowner's gonna be top two.
Well,
and
okay.
I think Monsoon's probably gonna be bottom two. Which I would say puts Mistral in the middle.
We did think that Sundowner's music was kind of a bit off
That's true.
from his
That's
character
true.
because
We did
we
talk
are
about that.
factoring in the boss fight with the music in total.
That's correct.
And if we talked about how Stan's music works well, Mistral's music works well, and Monsoon's music works really well, but then Sundowner's is a little like it's
He's
there,
the
but
odd
it's
man
not.
out there.
It doesn't. The other ones fits. It fits.
It doesn't.
But the
yeah,
other
it-
ones
it
fit
doesn't- it doesn't-
so
it doesn't
well.
reinforce it, yeah.
The other ones fit so well. It's like Avengers fucking. It's like the first Avengers versus Avengers Age of Ultron. The first one was so good, but the second one, Age of Ultron, is like it's good. It's just not as good. So a lot of people don't think it's that good. That's how I see Sundowner.
So would you put him in fourth?
Would you put
That's
him
what-
middle, or would you
No,
put him bottom?
I'm putting him fourth.
Fourth.
That's my because that's my input.
That's right. We did talk about it, about how Music Mistral reinforces her as a character, reinforces her thematically.
Yeah.
And then Monsoon's just absolute feral dog of a personality
Mm-hmm.
manifests in the music
But we
pretty
were
well.
talking about how much we don't like power metal.
Also true.
if we
That
put-
is true.
Yeah.
What if we put
He's-
Sundowner in third and Mistral in second?
Monsoon fourth.
Yeah.
Because we don't like power metal.
Yes.
There's gonna
Are
be
we
angry
okay
people in
with
the chat. I can Parkway Drive is gonna show up and fucking shoot me in the knees because I said I didn't like Prey.
I'm gonna
For the
write down
record, I
this.
loved Prey. Please don't come to my house.
I'm gonna write down this list. 6 is Metal Gear Ray.
Sorry.
5th is Blade Wolf. 4th is Monsoon. 3rd is Sundowner. 2nd is Mistral. 1st is Sam. Does that sound right?
Yes.
I'm down.
Okay. We
And
have
then I-
bickered about this way too much.
I know.
I think we've gotten some great mileage
Welcome to
out
the
of it.
Pixelcast, where we have hot takes about hot music and hot video games with hot characters.
I mean, hot. 2014, bro.
What?
Huh?
Yeah.
Hot takes about hot games, hot characters. Yes. Hot takes.
Oh, I
Hot
see.
games. Well, 2014.
Well,
We
yeah,
make it hot
2000,
like fucking blood again. That's
2014
our
was
power.
2014 was a rough year for games.